Well, we're going to close up the day with Satish Upda, who's going to talk with us a little bit about the talent that we're trying to recruit around these initiatives.
There's something terrible about being the last speaker. First, much of the ground that you want to cover has already been covered. Second, I know I stand between you and home and dinner, so I'll try to be as brief as I possibly can. So we're gathered here today to talk about an issue that's going to have a profound impact on our lives. Autonomous vehicles are around the corner, and my hope is that we'll be ready and prepared to deal with the consequences. I'll give you two simple examples of the impact that I'm talking about. Take the case of trucking. Over 8 million people in this country call trucking their profession. And when you have autonomous trucking, you can imagine the impact that it's going to have on their lives. That's going to be profound. Dr. Moore talked about the impact on the insurance industry. I believe it's going to have a profound impact on that industry, and if there's it's going to be an existential issue for the auto insurance industry. The third example that I want to talk about is a little more subtle. When I go to a day meeting in Chicago, I usually end up spending the night in Chicago. I go to a meeting, the meeting ends around 6 o'clock, I go have a dinner with my friends, and then I decide to retire at a hotel. But if I have an autonomous vehicle, what's going to prevent me from hopping into the car, sleeping inside the car, and having the car bring me back to Lansing? So it's not only the Airbnb that's going to have an impact on the hospitality industry, the automotive industry is also going to have an impact on that industry. Michigan State is investing not only in building the next generation of vehicles, and you heard two presentations today, one from Haider Radha, who is the father of the vehicle that we have here on campus, and Dr. Verbankur, who talked about some of the challenges associated with building that vehicle. The vehicle that they talked about is probably the only vehicle, and I'm going to indulge in a little bit of PR here, is probably the only vehicle that can pass muster under most weather conditions. How does it do that? Well, the vehicle uses multiple sensors or multiple modalities to figure out the state of the road. It employs a camera, a LiDAR, a radar, and down the road possibly sound to look ahead. And it has the ability to fuse all these pieces of data seamlessly before arriving at a decision as to what it needs to do. Very few vehicles are able to do that. This is one of the few that's capable of doing that. So in addition to investing in engineering, we are also looking at the social, legal, financial, and ethical aspects. How is society going to deal with this new technology? How will we deal with the ownership issues? Individual ownership, shared ridership like Uber, for example, cooperative ownership, a whole host of opportunities exist. What are the pros and cons of each one of these models here? The other thing is the uneven impact it's going to have on society. Clearly, some sections of our society are going to benefit a lot more than others. The aged, the very young, the sick, and the infirm are probably going to benefit more from this technology than most other sections of society. The other thing, if you are in the showroom, remember, cars are no longer going to be differentiated on the basis of their muscle. They are going to be differentiated on the basis of smarts, range, comfort, and connectivity. Okay, so Detroit has to come to grips with the fact that nobody is going to be interested in 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, or a 5-liter heavy engine compared to a 2-liter engine, because who cares, right? The vehicle is going to drive itself, and it does not matter what horsepower engine you're dealing with. Okay? The other issue that was referred to by Dr. Moore has to do with ethical issues. We are all trained to behave largely on the basis of our self-interest. When I drive my car, my decisions are based largely on self-interest. How should autonomous vehicles behave? Shouldn't the lives of 10 people take precedence over my life? That's an issue that we have to deal with. Now, this is not an issue that's theoretical. This has to be programmed into the vehicle today, and the impact is going to be seen tomorrow. It's not a hypothetical issue. It's a real-life issue that's going to be dealt with. Insurance issues. Again, you heard that from Dr. Moore. Who's going to be responsible if we have an accident? Passengers in the vehicle, the car manufacturer. What are the legal implications? Again, areas of study that Michigan State will focus on in the years and months to come. Okay, and areas that we will invest in the coming months. And our faculty and students are going to be wrestling with these issues. Last, I'd like to talk about the campus as a candidate for a test bed. Okay? Unlike many other test sites, both within and outside the state, which are artificial and sterile, okay, our test site is going to be a living and breathing entity. Thousands of students, faculty, and staff drive, walk, bike on this campus. And we have instrumented in the past year or so every intersection on this campus with equipment to gather data and monitor data. And the data can be used by vehicle manufacturers to develop and perfect their control algorithms. Most importantly, our students, believe me, are most assuredly going to test these vehicles, test the resilience of these vehicles, because I can see students putting their legs out to stop vehicles. So watch out, we're going to have a new type of test bed here in Michigan State University. I think these are very exciting times, and I'm delighted that we are a part of this adventure. I look forward to working with a whole bunch of you here in the years and months to come. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, you hung in here, and I think it's the message that you send and all of the speakers before you that kept people in the room, so thank you so much. Again, this was a briefing, a lot of information. One of the things that I could quote each of our speakers on something or the other, but one of the things that our Canadian visitor said, Richard Wagner, was that telling people about the work you're doing is as important as doing it. And so I would really encourage you to talk to people about what you learned here today and how your work relates to it. I think it's really important for the people back in your offices, in your homes, and in your community to understand what an exciting time this is and how revolutionary it really can be. Again, this was a briefing, but it was also a way to get you to meet one another and network. And so I plan on letting people who signed up to be here know who attended. So if you would rather I not do that, please let me know. I'd like to share the attendance list, but only if you're comfortable with it. Many people have asked about our presentations. I think we'll be fine with posting our presentations. And again, if you would prefer that I did not, let me know. But all of our speakers were very generous with their information, and I think happy to share those. I know there are a few that I really would like to revisit. So, any comments from the audience? Are we ready to go? All right. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you again, especially to University of Outreach and Engagement. Arnold, thanks for partnering with us.